We're back with your chance to ask Attorney Stewart Vance your legal questions live right here on air. We have a caller on the line, Bertha from Montgomery. Bertha, what's your question?
So I had a question in terms of an accident that I had. Someone hit me from behind, but it was a hit and run. I do have video of that hit and run. Also, I reported it to the insurance company, and I have been receiving correspondence from another company in terms of collecting on behalf of the hospital, and I couldn't understand how was it that they got my information. I want to proceed in even trying to gain monetary donations on behalf of another of that company because I didn't give them the information. And also, I have been in contact with the insurance company, but I have not released anything to them. Want to know which direction of which to go in terms of handling it legally because I did have some injuries.
Gosh, that's first of all, sorry you had the accident, but you've got a lot of good points to touch on there and kind of unpack for you. The fact that it was a hit and run, you got the video. I have clients call often. I would say do not engage and try to track down the other driver. I've had folks do that in the past. That's just not a thing you should need to do. It goes back to if you'll contact your own insurance company, that's called a phantom vehicle accident, where another vehicle caused the accident, and either they don't have to have made contact with you, but if they cause the accident, cause you to swerve and wreck, that's your insurance is going to cover that. But it's going to be covered by the part we just talked about, the uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage on your policy. So that's one thing. The part about collections from the medical, that can happen. And what usually happens is when you go to the ER, the intake person or station at the hospital, they're going to take your information. They're going to take your personal information to treat you. They're going to take your health insurance information, whether that's Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, TRICARE, Medicare, Blue Cross, whatever it might be, they're going to take that information. Now, a lot of clients ask me, wait a minute, why should my health insurance pay those bills when I wasn't at fault? Great question, and they should not ultimately, but that's a lot of medical providers need that information to get started. They have up to a year to make that claim with Blue Cross, so hopefully we can get involved and say, wait, no, there's an automobile insurance company that should pay those bills. We want to make sure that happens correctly before your health insurance company pays it. If your health insurance company does pay it, they then are going to turn around and want money back from you if you collect from the at-fault or even your own car insurance company. So it can be very confusing. We deal with it every single day, and we know the ins and the outs. So if for no other reason, if you're in an accident, call us and ask us those details. We can walk you through that. Doesn't mean you've hired our law firm. Doesn't mean we're going to take a fee on any money we collect for you or you get from the insurance company. Only if you want us to proceed to help you secure that is when you've employed us. So give us a call off the air. We can go through some of that and get you your specific situation taken care of.
Bertha,
I'll do it.
Bertha, thanks so much for calling in. And we have another caller, Steve from Whitewater. Steve, what's your question?
Yeah, I have a daughter that had an accident about a year and a half ago, and it was the other driver's fault. She's permanently disabled now, and I don't know how this thing works out, but he should be able to sue for more money or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But she's fully insured. He hit her from the rear end, threw her into the other lane. She hit another car head on, and it was a terrible wreck. But you know, she's got like 17 pins in her arm. She can't really use that arm. She was a nurse. She can't be a nurse anymore. It's just a really bad situation. Could you give me some insight on what we need to do to make, I don't know, I just don't understand why you can't re-sue somebody for something like that.
Well, Steve, first of all, I'm sorry your family, your daughter specifically, is going through that. That sounds horrible, but that is exactly what we do every day. And the first thing I would tell you, you said about a year and a half ago, do not let the 2-year time limit come up and pass you, because if that happens, you can't do anything. If there was $1 million out there of insurance that should be turned over to your daughter, if you let that 2 years go by, that $1 million is never going to go to your daughter and all the needs that she's experiencing right now. I can get you with you off the air and get some more specifics from you, but a lot of times what happens in the situations like you're talking about, there may not be enough automobile insurance. There may not be enough insurance available. And so there's some procedures through the court that we can petition the court to have the creditors, the medical providers, waive or reduce their charges. In Alabama, the minimum amount of insurance required is $25,000. So let's say the at-fault party has 25, she had a vehicle that had 25 on it, that's $50,000. And from what you've described, that won't put a dent in the medical expenses that she's experienced already. So what would happen is if that's turned over, we wouldn't want all the medical providers to just all of a sudden take all that money and disappear. She's going to have some out-of-pocket expenses that she needs that money to help with her recovery. So there are things we can do through the court. This happens a lot. And I wish more people would call and ask, because I have so many people talk to me after the fact that they said, well, there just wasn't enough, so we didn't do anything. There are some things we can do to help you out. There's also some provisions in Alabama state law that allows stacking of some insurance policies. So if she had another vehicle, an ATV or a boat or a camper or some other automobile or vehicle at home that she was not in, Alabama allows for stacking of those policies to increase the amount of funds that could be available for her in certain situations. So it's worth the call. I'm glad you called. We'll talk off the air and see if we can't help you guys out.
That'd be great. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thanks for calling.
I like that green jacket.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling in, Steve. I feel so bad for Steve and his family, but thankfully he took the right step by calling in. Where can people find you if they weren't able to call in just now?
Absolutely, Jasmine. It's as easy as dialing 3 for me, 333-3333. Go to the Vance Law Firm website or go to WSFA's website. You can ask these questions like Steve did on the air. We'll cover some of those when we have the time. If not, we'll always get back to those questions either in email form or with a phone call. So always call first. That's the best advice I can give.
All right, Bertha, Steve, again, thanks for calling in. And Stewart, thanks so much for joining us here on Alabama Live. We appreciate it.
Great to see you, Jasmine.
We'll be right back after this break.